First Friday of October. It's October 4th. We have like some good news today. It feels like it's been a week of a lot of bad news.
Yeah.
Got some good news talking about the strike. We're going to talk about a few other things, but let's ease into the Friday.
Everywhere I go, the people really want to know.
So funny story. We were just talking about how Kyle and I do a show. I was like, let's do a show because that's what we do.
That's what we do.
And Kyle goes, we do a show every morning.
If you know, so it's really, it's interesting to me. It's like, I remember the moment. It was like summer, approximately, was it 3 years ago, when Glenn Lundy announced his 1000th show.
That's right.
Thing that was going to happen. I think it was around like November of 2021 or something like that.
Yep, I was there. Actually.
And I remember, you were at the actual show, but I remember when he announced that he was doing it back when he was doing Clubhouse every day.
You're like, holy crap.
And I was like, wow, 1,000 shows. And, like the fact that he announced it at about 800.
Yeah.
I feel that right now, because we're like, we're in that 800 range. And it's like, man,
let me put this out there. When he announced that, you did have less children.
That is true.
Just putting that out there. You've ticked a couple of marks since that.
Man,
it takes a minute, but before you know it, right? Like you're doing it, and that's one of the benefits of consistency. And it's got doing a show has all these other fringe benefits. It's a lot of work. It's a major commitment. There are times when you and I are traveling, and it's like 11:30, and we just got back from an event and a dinner, and we're like, we have to build a show.
I'm telling you what.
And it's a grinder, and our head of production Nathan is in the fight with us. Sometimes Jordan Cox comes in. It takes a village, but I'll tell you what, man, the hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and we literally have hundreds of pages of show notes from the last 3 years.
I appreciate I'll take a minute, because actually Nathan just mentioned to us that it's been just over 3 years as of September 28th, 2021 since we started this show. But I appreciate the fact that what has given both of us is some context for our industry that I never had for years and years.
While
you
were in the stores.
It's forced us to have this like global context that is much more rich and has much more appreciation for the entirety of the industry, the dealers, retailers outside of the industry, OEMs, like where the moves come, and seeing a cycle for 3 years. It's really like opened my eyes, at least.
It helps you think. It makes you a well-rounded player. And even like when you say globally, not just planetary wise, but also like industry wise, retail industries, culture. It's all the things that we believe make a good retailer and make a good contributor, make a good leader. And so it's fun. Thanks for being with us and allowing us to bring some of this to you, and you reciprocating and being a part of it in the comments and at the events and on the social media posts. If you didn't know, like, follow the LinkedIn page. Just search ASOTO on LinkedIn. We have a lot of fun stuff and conversation going on there, and we love it when the podcast community becomes the LinkedIn community, and the LinkedIn community becomes the email community, and then we all get together at ASOTOCon and lots of hugs.
Lots of hugs.
All right, let's talk about some news. We have what we do have want to say, we do have a webinar today. What time is it today?
It is 1 o'clock my time, 2 o'clock Eastern time.
Eastern. All right, so 2 o'clock Eastern. Put the graphic on the screen. It's our new friends. Well, they're not our new friends, actually. They're our old friends from Wikipedia. But this is the first time they're doing a webinar with us. So if you can throw the graphic up there, you can go to ASOTO.com, or maybe you can't throw the graphic up right now. Go to ASOTO.com, scroll up, register right there. Make sure that you register so you can join. We're talking about aligning store processes and your marketing with Zach Billings of Wikimotive. And we're going to have a great time talking through that, a topic that's very close to our heart. Like, we love titling, we love auto transport, we love all those things, but marketing and store process, there's something, it's like a core, it's a core,
that's our hearts,
core belief of us. So we're going to do that. Let's get into some news.
Let's do it.
A crippling 3-day strike by the U.S. dock workers, you've seen this maybe already, has ended with a tentative agreement reopening ports on the East and Gulf Coast. However, there are some unresolved issues that could spark future disruptions. But basically, the union and port operators agreed to extend the contract through January 2025, which means everyone's getting their Christmas presents.
Right.
With more negotiations expected. Dock workers did secure a 62% wage hike over 6 years, raising wages from $39 an hour to $63 an hour.
Wow.
Talk about a recruiting ploy there.
Talk about that. You got 6 years to talk about right there.
Making more than nurses, police officers, entry level.
Bunch of people going to be running down to the ports today. They're like, give it to me. I'm in.
I mean, I think they realized the leverage they had right there. The strike did stop 45 container ships and affected 36 ports, threatening the shortage like bananas, auto parts. I will say, like, my wife went to Costco, bought a lot of bananas. Well, now we're going to freeze them. While the deal ends, the immediate stoppage, automation concerns that could lead to job losses remain unsolved. President Biden praised the deal, stating, quote, collective bargaining works. That's the statement. But tensions could rise again if unresolved issues persist. What do you think, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, the clear thing that I mentioned earlier this week is that the automation stuff still has to be figured out by January. They still have to figure out how they're going to write that and what the change is. You know, it seems like the wage hike over 6 years, that's probably not going anywhere. The tentative agreement's going to land there. So
just going to be like, we need 40% fewer workers.
My guess is you and I will be talking about this in January at some point. But we'll see how things progress. But luckily right now, hey, look, it was just a blip on the radar. Don't go run and get your toilet paper and your bananas. You're going to be fine. And
bring
all
them
your
back,
auto parts are going to be just fine too.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how many dock workers' wives had a say in this one. Yeah. Right? Like you're looking at the kids and you're like, if Christmas is tough for us this year to get stuff,
it's on you.
It's on you, man. And all your friends out there with those shirts that say they asked for a fight, we're give them a war. Did you see those shirts?
That's a mess.
We asked for a fight, we're giving them a war. That's
just wild.
I mean, I like it better than eat the rich still.
Yeah. Fair.
Rich. All right. Let's go from some good news to some challenging news. Let's do that. Well, we wanted to update you on the hurricane every single day. It's obviously widespread disruption across the Southeast. We did have Rich Lupo yesterday on the front line in Asheville, North Carolina, giving us his very kind of burdened report of what's actually going on the ground. This is likely to obviously push car prices up, both new and used, as we figure out damaged vehicles need to be replaced. We figure out what the inventory actually looks like. Used car demand is going to go up, particularly for the low cost options under $10,000, which are already hard to find. Cox Automotive Skylar Chadwick says this will jack up used car prices when everyone's already paying overpriced. Dealers are facing shrinking inventory. They have to get creative. Basically, fixed ops departments are expected to see also increased business. Many water damaged vehicles need repairs, right? It's a revenue source. But it's kind of like the doctor's office. Like, I don't want you to get sick, but if you get sick, I got your back.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens. A lot of
what I love about this is, like, Todd Caputo called this on what was it, Monday morning or Tuesday morning?
Yeah, sent us text messages. Yeah,
like he called all of this, and so it's quite clear. Like, we've seen these cycles before, but watch your used car inventory. Make sure, like, especially if you're in that area, that you are watching for flood vehicles or, staffing, making sure your staffing is appropriate to do a lot of the fixes that are going to be required. Across the nation, you're going to want to watch wholesale auction lanes to make sure that you're, really understanding, what that vehicle has. And I think we really, really won't see, pricing change for another 14 days till we hit the cycle of wholesale. And really understand what loss is out there, because it seems like new cars, we're kind of plenty in stock of the few dealers that have made mentions in news. So we'll see. I think this is still kind of a story unfolding over the next 2 weeks, but it's just kind of a watch out, especially for used car and service managers at this point.
Absolutely. And I think it's super important that we don't forget the fact, even though the mainstream media has, and most news sources, we don't forget the fact that there are people out there that are in really rough shape right now.
Yep.
That dealerships, I say our dealerships because I take ownership of all the dealerships in the industry. Our collective industry dealerships are out there in the midst of, and there are people hurting. So let's not just breeze past this because there's other stuff to talk about. Let's make sure if you're in 20 groups, if you're in ADAs, there are still coordinated efforts to help these people, help their community. So let's remember that if you have an opportunity to do so, need some more attention to it, please send it to us. Email at crew, CREW @asoto.com. We'll do everything we can to keep that effort moving forward and caring for the people. Speaking of one car that is not going to be one of those flood damage cars.
Segue.
No replacement needed. A Rivian R1T, that's the pickup truck kind of looking thing, submerged in Hurricane Helene's catastrophic floodwaters, still works. Actually, it still works fine. Showing some of the engineering that goes into this vehicle. It was found 100 yards from where it was parked, fully covered in mud, like mud in the bed, like the water was up, brushing this 7,000-pound vehicle away. Despite this, it started up when the owner found it. No apparent issues. It was fast charged. No problem there. Basically, the truck is water sealed so that it can like ford rivers and streams. So it's kind of what it was made for. Water sealed battery packs. No water got inside the cabin. And yeah, the owner basically like found it on his app. It was like down far from where he parked it. He's like, I parked it near the river. He's like, I just wasn't thinking. And then he was about to call the insurance company and somebody was like, well, just try it. And he started it on his app. It powered right up. He got inside. It was fine. And then he drove it. And then he went to found a fast charger. And he charged it.
The story is great. You got to watch if you can go to the link and then like watch the video. But this is one of those advantages, right? You don't have places where oil and gas have to move around and are exposed and have leak spaces, right? You can fully seal a battery pack, be water sealed. I mean, you see what like an iPhone can do. It can be submerged, right? It's all just technology, and this is the change that you potentially get when you get into the EV space. So, just kind of like a new future thing that could be reality for us.
And also, I mean, it's not saltwater either, right? If it's saltwater, it's a little bit of a different game.
A little different.
But a lot of stories, and I think Steve Greenfield had posted something I saw on this about people like, hey, like they're using their trucks and EVs to power their homes.
Power stuff.
No one has power for multiple days. He mentioned a Ford F-150 Lightning. He mentioned a Cybertruck owner. And so I think like pros and cons, but I mean,
pros and cons, baby.
On the flip side, the guy did say he was able to find one charger. It was an Electrify America charger that he's like, there's a line, but you can get it charged. So
the whole charger thing is always a thing. So,
I guess. Well, speaking about always a thing.
Segue.
I was terrified. I almost just packed up my computer.
You were like, we're going to the hills, baby, because two Harvard students have demonstrated a troubling new way to misuse consumer-level tech using just regular old Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses. You've seen them paired with facial recognition and AI to expose privacy risks. So the students use the glasses to capture images of strangers, then match them with online facial recognition software. They built a small program called iX-Ray. They gathered personal data from the internet within minutes, including addresses and family details. They have said that they're not releasing the program, but instead it was just aimed to highlight all these privacy concerns. And they said with the right tools like artificial intelligence, it's easier, faster, and potentially more invasive. Meta responded, noting such data gathering could be done with any camera, but with concerns remains over glasses' inconspicuous recording feature. So obviously, like,
let's
any
show
camera
this video
that you could connect to the internet could go and figure out this stuff. But look, to just be walking around,
these students figured out here. Play the video for a minute.
You got to watch
the whole thing
by anybody on the street. The information a tool collects from just a photo of your face is staggering.
So these people can't believe the information they found out just from facial profile.
You just put the glasses on, then as you walk by people, the glasses will detect when somebody's face is in frame. This photo is used to analyze them, and after a few seconds, their personal information pops up on your phone.
Right? Oh, this is me volunteering.
June Lee, right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
So he's showing this person how much he knows about them.
Academy?
The next one is my favorite in the subway.
Your Korean name is June?
Okay, here they're going to a subway where he goes up to a random person sitting on a bench after doing this process.
Oh, hi, ma'am. Wait, are you Betsy?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think I met you through like the Cambridge Community Foundation.
and then just like
knew
a bunch of stuff about her.
And she stands up and she shakes his hand and he goes to this other random guy. And first of all, that lady's face right there where he said her name and she stood up. I was like, so that's how I look when someone comes up to me.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, you must know me. I need to figure this out. Yeah. It's quite wild. I mean, these are all the risks that data and data privacy kind of has coming alongside of it.
I mean, people had a similar. I mean, this is like it gets like kind of like a little creepier and creepier. But I mean, like when there was Facebook stalking was invented, right? Like all of a sudden, people, I don't want to put my information out there. Like your information's out there. This, however, is just a broadly like available tech. Like, government has facial ID and they're able to do this already. Easy. But to know that anyone with Meta Ray-Ban glasses on, now, if you click through the link in the story, so you should go to the show notes, you go to like the podcast or wherever, go into the show notes, click on the link, you can see that the Twitter feed, there is a link in the Twitter feed. I checked it out. It's fine. It's a Google Doc that the students made, and it explains all the ways you can remove yourself from the most widely available databases of facial recognition and personal identity, address information. It gives you like the top 5. I haven't done that yet. I'll probably just try and go through the process and just see what it's like. But we have this tech. Can you imagine this tech being deployed in the service bay?
Mister. Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Whatever. How those new tires feel? Was the ride better? Like, oh, this person had an issue. Oh, let's go bring them extra special nice something.
Ollie. Intelligently deployed technology is amazing. When it's misused, it's dangerous. And we have both uses of current and future technology always. To just watch it out, baby.
Okay, I think we've had enough for today.
We've had enough.
I think we've had enough for show number, whatever it is. We hope you have an amazing Friday. Get out there. The tech's changing. The situation's changing. One thing doesn't change is you can care about the people more than the cars.